Oh, hi. I've just been watching Joshua Oppenheimer's The Act of Killing. Perhaps you'd like to hear some of my thoughts on the film. I think the phrase that sprang to mind when watching this film was the banality of evil. The banality in the sense of just the sheer everydayness of the way that the killers talk about their crimes. But not just the killers, the local people, when they're asked to reenact one of these murders, they just do it willingly with lots of laughter and smiles. And in fact, the only people who seem to be emotionally affected by what's going on are the children. On top of that, there's this Panacilla youth organisation, which are basically the Hitler youth, and yet they're completely accepted, seemingly, by everyone, and even government ministers are coming and sort of being their sponsors and addressing them. And then finally, there's this chat show, which I really couldn't work out whether that was actually a TV chat show in Indonesia or if that was something put together by the filmmakers. But even so, it was still this weird kind of making everything ordinary, making the murder and torture of people just every day. So the imagery of this film was quite interesting. I mean, those opening shots with the bright saturated colours and in stark contrast to today's overcast skies. But that fish that the women were coming out of at the start and dancing, and the man dressed as a woman throughout, I never really understood what that was getting at, other than to sort of expose the hubris of the filmmakers or the killers. Why that man was dressed as a woman was never really explained to me. I never quite understood that. And that whole scene with the fish, I wasn't sure what part of the film that was supposed to be. There was a bit later on with a waterfall. And that made sense because that was like the dead communists thanking them for giving them freedom from communism or whatever it was. But the whole fish dancing woman thing, no, a bit of a mystery. At the end of the film, I think we're supposed to get some sense that Anwar is somehow starting to understand the horror of what he's done and feel about it. But I wasn't very convinced by that. I mean, it seemed to me he was more just exhausted from all the filming than actually emotionally affected. And then he asked these very naive questions about, did the people who died, did they feel like this? I don't really believe that was heartfelt or honest. And then at the very end, there's this scene where he's kind of wandering around the courtyard, kind of expectorating heavily. And again, I think the filmmakers were trying to make us think that this had some connection to him understanding the horror of what he'd done. But it just sounded to me like he had bronchitis. In the end, I wasn't sure what this film or who this film was for. I mean, are we supposed to learn something from it? Because I'm not sure I did. And was it really sensible to give so much money to these people to basically make a film celebrating their misdeeds? It's certainly unlike anything I've ever seen before, and I'm glad I saw it. A great documentary? I don't think so.
Born free as the wind blows, as free as the grass.